here we are again. It's a slot for men's brief. So why are we talking about men's undergarment? Then we got these comments like, oh, what brand? Am I good? My son, is it good? No. It's nothing to do with literally about Jeff's or Omar's unmentionable. The series will actually talk about matters that are not usually discussed, yeah, or openly talk about men's issues or challenges, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, welcome to Point of View series. Today is our 21st episode. The Point of View series is basically a live online talk show where we invite guests to share their knowledge, experiences, wisdom, or perspective with our audience, right? And the purpose of this session is really to enlighten each other and hopefully along the lines of getting the light bulb moment that perhaps we all could act upon for the betterment of ourselves and also for others around us. My name is Jacqueline Joannis. I'll be hosting the session, but as usual, I'm not the only host. Today, as usual, we have Sheikh Omar to also host the session. And with us today, our regular panel guest every Monday, we are honored to have Jeffrey Tan, or I call him Tomuning. So what's Tomuning? The Dusun will know what's Tomuning. It's actually a type of animal, cute animal. All right, so first of all, thank you, Jeff, again for this another 1 hour of your precious Monday. And to our viewers, thank you so much for your support. Never thought we can reach more than 10 episodes, and today is already more than 20 episodes, yeah, Omar?
Yeah.
And yeah, again, and to all our viewers, thank you for dropping by. We hope that however long that you choose to listen to us or be with us, you'll gain something out of it. So talking about gaining, it'll be, I think in this context, it's really around learning something out of our sharing. And we believe it will work in two ways. Other than from watching or listening to our sharing, it will be much more impactful if you can be part of the session by you asking questions and or sharing your perspective around the topics today. So therefore, I would like to encourage all of you to ask questions and to share your perspective. Put that in the comment sections, or you can PM us, any of us here. It can be either during live or later in case you are watching this recording after our live session. As usual, let's introduce ourselves. Omar, Jeff, and I are corporate trainers, coaches, mentors, and or speakers in our own specialization. So let's hear from each one of us about our specific area. So we'll start with Omar.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Omar. Welcome back to the show. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Omar.
Hey, Jack. Yeah, I call him Jungle Jeff because he's always out in the jungle.
Yeah.
If it's not COVID. Yeah. I was in corporate for more than 20 years. When I left the corporate world, I became I started training, and an area that I focus on is communication, because what I realized is that when I was in corporate, a lot of the issues solved better if people could communicate better. And communication is a work in progress. We all continue to learn to develop the skill as we go along. And I position myself as a conversation coach because I tend to study it a little bit more. So that's what I do. I help people develop confidence with English speaking, and also to help people articulate their ideas better. Over to you, Jeff.
All right, thank you, Omar. Hi, I'm a leadership mastery facilitator. I facilitate, I coach, I train people on leadership skills, and also unleashing, if you will, the leaders in a lot of our people, especially in the teams, individuals, You know, there will always be someone who is a lack of confidence, afraid of themselves even. What I do is I help them to find themselves, as well as to lead themselves, so that they can be more productive and be more effective going through this journey of life. And back to you, Jack.
Thanks, Jeff. For me, profession-wise, for 13 years, I work in a learning and development department in a few companies. I started in MSc status company, and then I continued on working with multinational companies in learning and development. I left my 9-to-5 job in 2013, founded a company called Professional Advancements Resources and an academy called Asia Image Development Academy. My area of focus is in image consultancy and personal and professional growth and development. 70% of my business comes from corporate trainings, and the rest is one-on-one coaching and mentoring. Okay, so in this 21st episode of Point of View series, we are going to talk about sulking. Hear me correctly, it is sulking. I'm not sure if I pronounce that correctly, because I've been practicing and I sound like something else, right? So probably
it did sound like something else.
Probably I say it in in a sentence, which is, do men suck more than women? I think it sounds more.
Omar, I think I'm in the wrong. I think I'm in the wrong right now. Okay, bye.
I was laughing about this earlier on alone, because the moment I was hearing myself, I sounded like a different thing. So Omar, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where the conversation coach comes in. Where you talk about diction, you know, how do you enunciate, how do you say things properly? So it's salt, oh, there's an L, there's an L sound, salt, Jack. I never thought we'd get here. Never even thought of that.
I decided not to get corrected earlier, because usually if I don't know how to pronounce certain things, I'll refer to Omar. But this time I told myself, no, I'm not going to be getting the correction from Omar, because I want to be sounded, well, the real me, and perhaps it will some laughter. Okay, continue, Omar.
That's hilarious.
Well, I guess today's topic is going to shift from sulking to sucking today.
It's difficult for me to pronounce it, you know, sulking.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
And I have to like really be mindful on the tongue, but couldn't be bothered. Okay.
Yeah, but before we get into that, you know, it's really amazing. What I find amazing about you, Jack, is your story. It was a discovery for me, because we were in a workshop one time at Neo One, and there was a session that Jora was conducting, and we had to find a partner, and one of the our background, and then I heard about your background, how you grew up in way deep in Sabah, somewhere in the jungle, you know, a small kampong where people hardly spoke English, and hardly anyone leaves the kampong, and you managed to leave it. And then you went to the university in the peninsula, Semenanjung, and you were telling me that while you were in college, you actually went to 3 different English classes on your own, 3 different tuition classes. Is that right, Jack? 3 or 2?
3, more than that.
Actually. 3 at the same time, yeah, more than that, yeah. All because you wanted to improve your English. So it's really amazing.
But
story.
still, I pronounce sulking, sucking.
Exactly, you said it right. Sulking, yeah, sulking. So yeah, the word is sulking. In Malay is merajuk. You know, merajuk, and merajuk or sulking is usually attributed to children and women. But for this episode, we're talking about men's issues, and for today, we were actually trying to figure out what issue we wanted to talk about. I remember when we first started this, we had so many things to talk about, then suddenly for today, it's like, what are we going to talk about? And then Jack brought that up, and I thought it's a great topic, or rather we thought it was a great topic. And so we started asking around, and a lot of the ladies were saying, yeah, men sulk more than women. And so that's an interesting question, right? So I guess how we're going to do this is basically to pass it over to the ladies. I mean, you're the only one here. We were trying to get someone else, but she couldn't make it. But we'd like to know, or we'd like to hear your question, because for me, if you were to ask me, do men sulk more than women? I think it works both ways.
Okay.
That you shouldn't have brought that up. It sounds like a funny episode right now. But merajuk, let's call it merajuk.
That's why I got
right?
myself prepared.
Yeah, so
with
I guess,
few.
Right. So my question to you is, what makes you ask that question that way? You know, that men are sulking more than women. What makes you ask that?
Okay, before I continue on that, let me share with you a few of comments from my girlfriends about their husband and also their boyfriend. So I asked them around sulking, right? Okay, I'm gonna share with you their feedback, or rather their sharing. I will show this on screen. I'll do a share screen right now. Okay. Nampak tak? Can see? So this is from a friend. I asked her, husband ni merajuk tak? And this is her comment. She said, laki aku kaki merajuk, letih mental, betul aku bila layan dia merajuk. Dia boleh tak bercakap lagi, tak cakap dengan dia. Dulu masa baru kahwin, bolehlah, apa dia kata? Bolehlah nak merajuk sebab sakit hati. Tapi lepas tu, my friend pula kena mengalah. So this is another testament that men do merajuk, yeah. And another one, maybe I can show another one.
So she when she got married, she was in a merajuk competition to see who would merajuk longer. Was it right? Is that what I'm getting from that message? And then, but she lost out.
Yeah. And this is another one. Baca, Jeff.
Sorry, my husband kalau dia merajuk, dia cakap. Apa dia cakap? Oh, okay. Then I pujuk lah. Sebab before this, kalau dia merajuk, dia diam je dan tak bercakap. So, I tak pujuk lah sebab I tak tahu pun dia merajuk. So, now kalau merajuk, dia cakap. Then baru I pujuk.
Yelah, dia tak cakap because dia tengah fikir kot.
I will show
mungkin dia tak tahu dia merajuk.
Okay, another one. Probably this one is, okay, both just now, it was about the husband, right? Another one is, this is about the boyfriend.
Not the wife.
I paling tak suka lelaki kuat merajuk. Had a boyfriend, suka merajuk like little girl. Gosh, penat layan. Wow.
So why I'm showing those are basically because while I was researching about sulking, men sulk, right? There are a lot of this, men, they were talking around the word men sulk is actually quite a generalization kind of statement, which is true in many sense, right? But probably what we want to address here is everyone sulks basically, regardless if you're man or women, but the way we do it probably different. So my question is that if we are doing it differently, I think when we are merajuk, the intention is we want to get attention, betul tak? You want to get attention from the other person or the other party or the other individual. One, okay, of course, one is the first thing first is really to showcase that you are not
Happy.
in
Not
agreement,
pleased.
or
Yeah.
you are having some kind of pain, if we call it pain, right? And then at the end of the day, it's basically not just to express those, but also ultimately you want, or that person need that attention, to get that attention. Yeah,
Interesting.
at least that's true for me. Okay, so
Well, thank you for being honest.
yeah, well, when bila I'm rajo, I'll usually, okay, it's for me to express, and it's also to have some sort of like I want to have the attention, and when I get the attention, and it's some sort of like the feeling of, oh, okay, I how to say, I feel satisfied lah.
Right.
Okay.
That,
So now
yeah.
my question, that's from a women perspective.
Yeah.
So from men, why, when you are sulking, what's the intention behind it?
Actually, I kind of agree with you, Jack. I basically, kalau I'm Raju, yeah, it's also to express a frustration from me, and also in a way to also show that apa ni, to also get some attention. I guess men don't require attention. No, look
Yeah.
at me, I need this, but it's kind of like, I just want you to know that I'm not pleased. I just want you to know I have feelings too.
Some men, you said men, some men.
Some men, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
some maybe don't feel it, don't realize it, but they just go along lah. Whatever kan.
Okay, that's interesting because because I echo Jeff. It's not so much for me. It's not so much for attention because I'm thinking back my experiences. It's not so much about getting attention, but more about showing displeasure. Right, showing displeasure that I'm not happy with something. So
Then,
I'm now curious. I'm not
then
curious.
after you show, what is the ultimate? What do you want from showing?
Not so much attention, but I want the other person to acknowledge that there is this problem and to do something about it or to acknowledge it.
What do you mean by
So,
acknowledging it?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So good question. So let's get back. Let's get to the core of the issue, which meaning instead of talking like this, let's go to a particular situation, right? So when you say that when you do it is because you want attention, Jack, can you think of a particular situation? Like for instance,
I mean,
if you,
I'm trying to make it as real in a situation where when you are sulking, right?
Yeah.
For women, it's really around getting the attention. For some women, maybe getting the attention, right? That I need to. You have to say that, oh, kesiannya, okay, I care for you. Okay, I'm listening to you. Okay, But for men, when you say you want to have acknowledgement, you want to get acknowledgement in terms of you are not satisfied with that. What do you mean by acknowledgement? Is it sufficient enough for me to say, oh, okay, you marah ya? Okay lah, pergi marah. Is that all? So that's why we are going to go into, if men do really sulk, what's the intention behind it? What is it that you want when you are sulking?
okay, let's come up with a real situation. Okay, so let me ask Jeff, what would piss you off, Jeff, that you would merajuk?
Well, I think when I feel that I'm not being heard, sometimes when I want to express something and the person just doesn't get what I'm saying or basically not connected to whatever I'm saying. So I do get into that phase of merajuk. So wait until you realize is something wrong, So in a way, the merajuk is to get that attention because okay, I'm not one of those that, starts blowing up first. Yeah. I'm kind of like pretty passive until, okay lah, I'll keep it as quiet as possible until bila I tak boleh tahan, then, I will start doing things. Maybe in a way, bila maju, I might just do things a little bit rougher, like putting things on the table, slamming doors, that sort of way.
Okay, so
So that's
Subtly.
exactly what I meant just now. The way we do it differently, but we do have.
and you are talking. You're telling me about. Oh dear, the line is bad.
Yeah. Who wants to talk? Continue, Omar.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say Jeff. Let's say you just went on a jungle hike, right? And then you found it so exciting and all kinds of stuff, and you came back and you are with your partner and you're trying to share this experience that you had, and it's so meaningful to you because something happened, and your partner just couldn't be bothered, right?
Okay.
She keeps on talking about other things, or she kind of like ignores it. And so you start to feel that, hey, I'm being ignored here. I'm just being neglected. She's not listening, or she, whatever was meaningful to you, she puts you down. It's like, what's the big deal, right? And so you get upset. Okay, so I can understand that. So then you start to feel upset, and you start to merajuk, which means that you will start to shut down.
All right.
And to express your dissatisfaction, you would keep quiet, or you would just throw things on the table, or
Why
do things
don't you share your situation, Omar? Because this one is that you're implying on Jeff's situation. So maybe you can share your own, your real situation when you sulk.
Okay,
right?
yeah, I know.
What was the situation?
But since I started with Jeff, let's go with Jeff, then you'll get to me. So
Okay,
Jeff, in that situation, what are you expecting?
Well, I mean, if I don't get any response or any, interested moment during that point, I would just shut down. Yeah, I'll just shut down and I go about doing my things, and I'll probably be just quiet. I won't mention anything about that whole situation at all, or the whole experience. And you probably will not hear me talk about it for your whole lifetime, unless you decide to ask, hey, how come you never tell me about your adventures anymore? That's when it comes up.
Okay, so Jack, hang on. If you were his girlfriend, what would you do in that situation?
I've never experienced that situation, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, make it real. That's why I want to ask Jeff, what was the situation that Jeff experienced that you got yourself sulking? And if I were to put myself in that situation, probably I can say something out of it. I mean, because just now, Omar's question is around when you go for a walk, right?
Okay, Jack, let me share this.
Yeah, let's make it the real one.
Okay, one of the situations where I would actually sulk would be working in the kitchen, right? So when my partner wants to cook, and she, for example, I'm gonna bring the onion chopping thing into the lights. Okay, so for me, if you ask me to cut an onion, I'll cut it any which way. Kupas the kulit first, and I will slice it in half, and I will chop lah. Kau nak potong onion kan? I will chop the thing for you. But then she has this. That's the way how to chop the onion. You don't know how to chop onion, is it? And that frustrates me. So when I get frustrated with that, I will just, okay lah, fine. You go and chop it yourself. That's how I would show the frustrations. And okay, that's part one. Part two, whenever she's cooking, comes in, of course, me being the supportive partner, I'll come in. Do you need any help? Yeah. Can you chop the onions? So comes right back to me again. Bloody onions, right? So okay, I'm not gonna shed any tears over it. I'll take the onion and I'm gonna ask her, so how do you want me to chop it? Is this the correct way or is this the correct way? I will make it so clear. And then she will, have this frustrated look and then look at me and then dia tahu lah I'm merajuk ni.
Mm.
Because I dah make it very clear. Oh, nak potong macam ni ke, very mengada lah. Very mengada.
Mm.
So
Okay.
that you actually see that, you know
Indeed
what?
lah, you menyindir.
Yeah, menyindir, correct. Because for a guy, an onion is an onion. Kau chop macam mana, kau masuk mulut, sama je, right? But for some people, they're very particular about how you cut the onion. Kan? Dia kena ikut baris dia lah, jalur dia lah, whatever lah kan. So what I do is this is my way of the silent sulk would be, diam lah. I will ask lah, macam ni macam like menyindir lah, like what you were saying.
Okay.
So every bit. So then when it comes to chopping garlic, potong sayur, I will tanya lah. Until, yeah, so you're right. The menyindir part is actually to get the attention. So when suddenly she realized, ngada-ngada lah dia ni. Kenapa? Everything also you nak tanya I how to cut this, cut that. Baik aku buat sendiri kan. Then bila dia tanya, then I say, actually, for me, it's all the same. But to you, you want it in a certain way. So why don't you just tell me specifically how you want it done? Then we can get it right. Yeah. So tak payah gaduh. Right. So that's one of it. Yeah.
So that's why as a lady, that's why I'm asking, in that specific example of yours, right?
Yeah.
How could that be dealt better by the woman or your partner?
Well, I think a lot of it boils down again to communication because for example, right, your mom taught you how to chop or cut certain things in a certain way, right? So let's just say, Jack, if you're my girlfriend and you come from a different part of the world, how you do things are so totally different, right? Okay. Whereas on my side, we do things so totally different because to us, food is food. Lantak lah how we just campak the thing, right? So we all have different ways and different traditions and cultures of doing things. So perhaps the communication needs to be clear enough so that we don't fight. We won't have a battlefront inside the kitchen, for example. That's just one area I can go to because I realize when I share this thing with some of my friends, they tend to agree. Some of the guys look at the girls and the girls are looking at the guys because they're having that same sort of problem in the kitchen. Yeah. So simple thing as a cut. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So with that explanation, it reminds me of my girlfriend. This is what she said about communication. Yeah. Because she said that initially she didn't know that the husband is merajuk, but that's why she can't do anything about it. So meaning no clear communication around. So my husband kalau dia merajuk, dia cakap dan I pujuk lah. Sebab before this, kalau dia merajuk, dia diam aja, tak bercakap. So I pun diam lah sebab tak tahu. You don't know whether, I mean, she didn't know that the husband was merajuk, was sulking. But because of clear communication, now what happened was the husband will then tell that he is sulking, and therefore the lady or the wife will be able to address it or will be able to give the attention needed. So I think I totally agree what you said, Jeff, is around the communication, and I think it's also around empathizing around what I feel is right, around how certain things need to be done. It might be not shared by the other party or the wife or the husband. So communicating those probably will save us a lot of those sulking moments.
Yeah, sulking moments, right? I think you remember in our earlier episodes, I was sharing with you how I tend to sweep things under the carpet, right? So sometimes when we sulk, we don't mention it like what your friend is saying. Well, that's the truth. Hello, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what's going through you. So unless you tell me what's going on, yeah. So sometimes, you know, no matter how much we ask, are you okay? Kenapa? Apa sebab? And bila dah merajuk tu tak nak bercakap kan?
Yes.
So bila tak cakap, maka kita pun tak tahu lah.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, there are two different ways of looking at it. Guys do it as well as the girls. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So Omar, now your situation. Tell us your situation that you merajuk and then what happened.
Go on, Raju already. So, see, this is another.
No, because this talk is about real stuff. You don't create. So that's why we need to talk about men's when what was the situation you were merajuk and what happened. Yeah.
So right. So this is another example where I get cut off and I can't even explain myself. You know, and you get shut down.
That's the real stuff.
So there are various scenarios. The first one we were talking about is just displeasure, and then we're not talking. But this other situation is also happens where I'm talking or I'm trying to do something and I just get overridden, right? And then I don't know whether it's men or women, but I think it's just that if you override someone and then you just not allow the person to continue, explain themselves, then I get into that situation. I would actually shut down. So I think it still goes back to explaining to the other person how you feel, and for both parties to have some kind of a ground rule. You know, one is that if you're unhappy about something, to explain it, and the other person when the other person needs to be able to listen to it and accept it. You know, but let me move on. So this is about not communicating about things that you don't like. But another issue is, to me, is like for instance, I can't help but think about this. There was a time when my kid was little, and my kid was a boy, and his hair was growing long, and I said, keep it long. You know how little kids are. You know, you want their hair to be long. And I came home from work one day, and his hair was cut short. And it was cut short because my ex-wife's mother asked her to cut it. You know, so that one got me into a big sulking mood. You know, I was actually quite furious, but I just shut down. So I think for me, I tend to shut down if I am also furious about something, because I'm not confrontational. I avoid conflict. I don't like to fight, and I would just shut down. And in that situation, it is sort of like kind of like a betrayal, because like you know, you expect your partner to be on your side and then she isn't. Yeah, so that kind of stuff will shut me down. And I think a lot of our relationships are like this, where the partners are not on the same side. They listen to somebody else. Because I'm just reflecting also on some of my friends who've gone estranged. You know, the wife and the husband don't really talk too much, because too many of these mini betrayals have been going on. And because they don't talk about it, they keep it, so the negative feelings are built upon. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally there's a rift, and you know they're not as close as before. So that's another reason why I would shut down when I feel betrayed. Now, I'm saying betrayed not in a treacherous form, but you know, the mini betrayals when you say when you are thinking that your wife has your back, or your husband has your back, and then they don't, because they side somebody else. I think a lot of that goes on.
So
I don't know if you've experienced that. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm getting from you is really the other extreme part of the emotion, that the frustration, a deeper part of frustration, comparing to what Jeff was explaining just now. That will be a bit, if I can say that, yeah, Jeff, that's a bit trivia. potong bawang comparing to feeling betrayed. I think that those two are totally, if you put it in spectrum, has got a huge gap in between in terms of severity, in terms of talking about the feeling frustration. So like a person like you, Omar, different personality than Jeff, would you be sulking if you are in Jeff's situation, or as trivial as those, or you just use it, you don't even look at it as something that frustrating?
In Jeff's situation about the onions, you mean?
Not the Jeff situation, but as simple as those, as any simple stuff like, you know, perhaps, because feeling betrayed is, I think for me personally, it's the other extreme part of frustration. It's serious. It's beyond potong bawang, right? So I'm asking you, a person like you with that, your personality, would you sulk?
I'm also thinking back about the time when I had a girlfriend when I was really young, and I would, but at this age, we're wiser, older and wiser, and you kind of like choose your
battles,
choose where you want to focus your emotions on. So we can talk about it, say, hey, why did you do this? Right? So this is where you need to establish ground rules by agreeing that, hey, if I'm not happy about something, I can tell you and you need to listen, and vice versa. Or just totally ignore it. So at this age, at this stage in my life, I would just probably just ignore it. If she wants me to cut the onion a certain way, I go, okay, no big deal.
Right. Yeah. So that reminds me of my girlfriend sharing, which is totally relevant in relevant to what you said just now, Omar. She said, this is what she said. She said, of course lah, my husband merajuk. Dulu-dulu I pujuk, but sekarang dah tua-tua, I biar dia cool dulu. Tak terus pujuk. Because bila dah cool, baru we talk about it, lagi senang. So I think that's actually linked to my next question. Is that how to deal with sulking husband, boyfriend, or brother? I think it depends on maturity. Can I say that?
Yeah, I think so.
It depends on maturity. Yeah. What do you think of that, Omar?
Well, I agree, but I also think that instead of just keeping it quiet and waiting for it to go away, why don't you just acknowledge it?
That's why my question just now, what do you mean by acknowledging it? Give attention?
That's right.
Yeah.
I was just about to explain it. You could just go up to the person and say, hey, I noticed that you're not happy about something. I'm not sure what it is. Right? Or, okay, so let's say, I think of an example. Let's say I'm not happy about something. My girlfriend, Jack, right? And I'm not happy about something. And you notice that I'm not, right? So being older and wiser, if it's too trivial, I will just ignore it. However, I think it would be really nice if you come to me and say, hey, I noticed you're not happy about something. Was it this or was it that? And if you said, hey, if you acknowledge, that's what I mean by acknowledge it. That means you actually talk about that. It'll be great, right? So if you come to me and say, hey, I noticed that you weren't happy when I asked you to chop the onions a different way. I go, yeah, I wasn't, it's not a big deal at all. And you could go, yeah, okay, sorry about that, forget it. So it'd be nice, right? So instead of just ignoring it, it'd be great if you could just be sensitive about how each other feels, take notice of it, and just address it, talk about it. What do you think, Jeff?
Okay, Jeff, my next question then.
Well, I tend to, I tend to agree with your friend's what she said about waiting for the other person to cool down and then talk about it. It's great that she acknowledges the fact that she notices something is out of place. But some people, I must say that some people just do not realize that something is out of place. So the sulking and the frustration is actually just to express, like you were sharing earlier, it's to express my frustration. However, maybe I don't say it in so many words. I am just just sharing it up, and yeah, if in the heat of the moment, nothing is too big, nothing is too small. We might look at the bawang thing as small, but the bawang can be the pebble in your shoe, right? The same thing as, if you're going to say in terms of the backing, the betrayal of your backing, I would feel that too. I feel a betrayal too. I thought, hey, you know what? That's our son, and if don't we have a say in how his hair should be done, and not somebody else, I would be pissed off too. I've got into altercations because of that as well. For me, I'll grab my son, bring him to the barber, and I have this cut for him. Easy, because he's 1 years old, 2 years old at that point. But mommy doesn't like that. Mommy says, hey, you know what? It's not even. Some is like this, da, 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 da. So mommy is a bit upset over it. So yeah. She feels that I betrayed her because I didn't question her about what hairdo we should have. So yeah. All I can say is there's nothing too small or too big. Everything adds up.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next question to both of you is that if it's related to maturity, right?
Right.
Because us ladies, we always have this thought. Again, I'm generalizing, but for me, it might be it's true. Is sulking immature? So as a man specifically, does that relate to immature?
Can I just share that? My personal belief, I don't care how mature you are, you still sulk. Okay, I have seen the best of men and women. No matter how educated you are, how wise you are, you still sulk. Okay, so don't pretend that you don't. I've seen it before, and no matter how controlled you are, I can sit and wait for that one moment. It will come. So I think it has nothing to do with maturity. This is my personal belief. Nothing to do with maturity. It's to do with emotions.
Right. So Omar?
Really has to do with emotions.
All right.
Yeah.
Omar?
Well, it really depends on what you mean by maturity. I agree with Jeff. It has to do with emotions, and is also what you do about it. So if I could define maturity as if you once you experience the emotion and then you do something which is constructive about it, then that's maturity. Then that's maturity. But if you don't do something about it and you continue to be negative, then that's immaturity. Yeah.
Imbecile.
So
right.
yeah.
So in relation to that, your answers, yeah, it depending on the level of the definition about immaturity. What is it that happening around you? And Jeff mentioned it depends on the individual. So therefore, I can relate both of your answers into personalities, right? So in your opinion, as two men here, what type of man that sulk? What type of personalities? I mean, not the IAC or whatever that you can share, but what kind of man that usually will sulk? What type, personality-wise?
Yeah. I think it's the quiet ones who are not more. Okay, so it would be the supportive personality, the one who is more quiet and more private, and also the analytical ones. The analytical ones are the crazy ones because you never know that they're sulking because they're quiet all the time anyway. But they're thinking, and they can be super sensitive because you might miss doing something, and they're not going to be happy about it, but you're never going to know. Whereas the supporter type, you could tell. They'll pull a face, they'll withdraw within themselves, they won't talk to you, so something's wrong. But with the analytical one, you may not know, right? Because yeah, they're like a robot. So this kind of tough. So that's where I think establishing communication rules is so key.
Jeff?
Well, I think everybody sulks. With the exception of the dominant one, they will just blow up. They don't have time to sulk. They'll tell you as it is. So yeah, there will be no time to sulk. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Now I want to ask both of you because man is always closely related to shutting themselves down when they are frustrated, right? So shutdown is a type of sulking. And who does that?
Who does that?
First question is that does shutdown is a type of sulking?
Okay.
And who usually does the shutting down thingy? What kind? Who meaning what kind of man, or is it all men, or how is it?
Yeah.
Shut down.
Yeah, I agree. I think that shutdown is a form of sulking, and I think all men do that because sometimes we just want to go into our caves and then fine, I'll go think things through. You know, a shutdown is one form of sulking. Yeah, not saying so many words because maybe I just don't want to. I don't want to even bother talking about it. I'll just go somewhere and disappear for a while, and then when I'm ready, I'll come back. So I think some of us do that. Some of us practice that anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Omar?
I think there could be multiple reasons. I can think of two big ones. One is a cry for help. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to handle the problem that they're having. And a lot of men do not turn to their wives for help because of the, you know, in a normal society, men do not like to express their weakness. So if they have an issue, let's say they have a money issue or work-related issue, some weakness issue, they're not going to express it to their wives or their partner. So they may shut down, which is a cry for help. Right? They need help, but they don't know how to ask for it. That's one. The other shutdown, the other way. Sorry?
How about you? When do you shut down? What kind of situation?
Yeah. The other shutdown is when you know that your wife is not going to respond to you in a compromising way. So in other words, let's say you know, gosh, I can't think of a situation right now. But let's say you are in a situation where your wife is doing something that you don't like, and then you're not going to voice your displeasure because you feel that it's useless because she's not going to be listening. She's not going to care. She's just going to ignore it. So you will shut down. You would just not talk about it at all, right? So this is quite severe. So a shutdown is a form of sulking, but is a more serious form of sulking, right? So that's why I say that there's multiple reasons, and two big ones is a cry for help, and the other one is an almost complete what do you call it, disparity in opinions, right? Which means that the guy he knows that it's pointless to talk to the wife, so they just shut down. So they're not happy at all. I can't think of a reason right now. I'm glad I can't think, which means I'm over all this. but it has happened. You don't even want to discuss it. Yeah, you just don't want to discuss it.
All right. So thank you. This again reminds me of another response from my girlfriend. This is what she put. She was saying about, I was asking whether the husband sulk, and she said he doesn't. He just goes silent to collect thoughts, and then the wife, my girlfriend, will then get annoyed. So, so I think this is another form, if I can translate this, another form of shutdown for, I don't know, however long that will take, but it's another form of shutting down. And good thing is that the wife realized it's a moment for him to collect his thoughts and perhaps getting back to his normal self after that.
Yeah, okay. I want to make a comment about this, Jack. So this is one situation where I feel that there is a possibility that he is just quiet because he sees that it's pointless to bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is something that maybe the wife needs to pay attention to, that perhaps she is, chances are, in this situation, chances are the husband is a non-confrontational type and the wife is a louder person, is a more assertive person. So he will always lose in an argument or in a discussion. He will tend to lose. So if he shuts down, it could be because he sees it as a pointless argument. You know, so it's something that she may need to pay attention to.
What do you think, Jeff, about this?
Well, I think it's good observation that she noticed that he's going silent to collect his thoughts. Give him space. What I say is just give him space, and slowly talk about it. Because yeah, I know it gets annoying. It is annoying because when the other person just goes silent and doesn't say anything, it is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of perhaps avoiding confrontation. It is also a sign of perhaps not wanting to have it escalate any further. So perhaps just give each other some space and then talk about it at a later day, maybe 2 days later, whatever it is, but not too long lah. Just make sure address it so that we can move forward.
Yeah.
Kalau simpan-simpan kan, nanti lama-lama jadi bukit.
And that your explanation reminds me of another extreme of a sulking man, is that there'll be this type of man who will not give up and he will just continue on sulking until the wife decide to give him the full attention. Can you see the screen? No?
No.
Okay. It came on momentarily.
Okay. So this one is like, okay. This one is the husband will never give up, will continue sulking until the wife decided to mengalah. Lepas 1 atau 2 hari. 1 atau 2 hari. I don't know whether it's 1 atau or half a day, dia juga yang kena mengalah.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting. We have one type of man who will not sulk but will just shut down for a moment to collect his thoughts, and there's another type of man who will meraju until forever, waiting for the wife to surrender, to give up, right? So such a interesting variations of way of managing your managing frustration. So Jeff, where are you in between, or where are you inclined towards the first one just now or this one?
I normally would be
put
the
this
first.
in spectrum.
I normally won't hold it to tak jugalah. I pun boleh sampai ke tahap mana juga.
1 atau 2 hari? Oh my goodness.
Seminggu pun boleh juga.
Oh my goodness, seminggu merajuk tak nak potong bawang.
Yeah.
Omar?
I think you know what? It's of course bila nak katakan mengalah, that means it's looking like one person has to be right and the other has to be wrong. So where sulking or any other cold shoulders are concerned, I think only in peacetime can we work on anything. Sebab kalau masa marah-marah, there's no point talking in the first place. So But when you calm down, I think, yeah, kalau nak lah, okay, boleh mengalah. But perhaps that could be the moment that you want to also bring out or share that, you know, we really need to talk about this because it's not healthy. Takkan every time aku juga yang mengalah, right? I'm sure whoever does the mengalah will be tired after a while, right? And like for me as well, dah mengalah lebih-lebih, I melenting juga. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to mengalah this time, so I'll merajuk someone, I'll keep it for 1 week. You know what I mean?
And Jeff, your personality is?
I'm a supporter. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's normally I will be very passive. I'm not aggressive, but however, bila dah, kalau orang kata dah, if you pushed against the wall, right? Guess what happens? You will retaliate at some point. So I don't think anybody likes to have that kind of a situation. So what I'm saying is, it's good to actually have a talk, have that fight so that you can move forward in a better way. Right?
Yeah.
You remember we talked about having that fight just so that we can move on. But yeah, perhaps we need to have that fight just to move on. Right?
You, Omar?
But
how about you? Sorry.
Yeah, but there's no right or wrong way about it. At the end of the day, I think it's about bringing peace to the living room and to the kitchen or even to the bedroom. So, yeah. You need to have a certain alignment of what we're gonna do about this relationship, how we're gonna move along with this relationship. So it helps. It helps. Yeah. Omar, what do you think?
Let's hear about you, Omar. So which part? Which
I also tend to be more of a supporter type. So I'm thinking back about the times when I would merajuk as well, and being the supporter type, you tend not to be the one to take action. You tend to wait for action. So that's why you merajuk. Not that's why it lasts for so long, because you're waiting for somebody else to do it, to take the action, to take the first step to break the ice, right? And guess what? It gets tiring. If you're the one who's merajuk, you're waiting for the other person to please say something to me, please talk to me, please raise this issue, because you're not going to raise it. Because of your personality, you're not going to raise it. And you're tired. You're getting really tired. So please, in your heart, you're saying, please talk to me, right? So for women out there who are with the supportive men and the men merajuk, talk to them. But give them space first, not immediately, right? Don't talk to them immediately. Give them space and talk to them because they're waiting for you to talk to them. Now, at the same time, moving forward, when we talk about maturity, you brought this up earlier, Jack. I think we really need to establish communication, a culture of communication. Like Jeff says, it's not healthy. It's tiring. It's emotionally draining. So for men who tend to be in this kind of falls in this category, learn to pick and choose what you want to be upset about. There's so many things you can be upset about, and some of them are too trivial. In the long scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. 5 years from now, it doesn't really matter that you merajuk for 1 hour. You don't even remember it. So why do that, right? But I think the key thing here is to learn to be able to communicate. And if you're not used to it, better put some work on it. Find a coach.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think we are. Thank you so much for both of you. If anyone would want to re-watch the recording, I think you'll get a lot of nuggets or rather tips and techniques how to deal with your man when he is sulking. And last but not least, I think there's another type of woman that that couldn't be bothered about whether you are sulking or you're making faces or you want to get attention. Because this woman will just say that, why are you doing that? That's just a waste of time. Don't act like a lady or don't act like a little girl, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, we all are human beings. We have our emotions. And just to summarize everything in a few words from both of you, quick one. what are the keywords that you want those ladies out there to have a good grasp on how can they deal with a sulking boyfriend, husband, or brother? Quick one, Jeff.
Have patience. We are just like you.
Yeah. For me, it would be have an understanding of how to communicate. You know, and it's not just for the women; it's for both, for both the men and the women. Yeah.
Thank you. And for me, for all this realization or experiences I have gone through with men, I think at the end of the day, ladies, it's not always about you. It's always about two of you, both of you. It's not always about what you want, but you have to understand about the other person, or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your brother, or your husband. We all need to be seen as important in each other's life. All right. So I think that's the end of our session today. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, our live viewers. Thank you so much for
Getting in.
be with us. I lost of words. For be with us today to next session about on POV is about what is it, Omar? On Wednesday. I kind of still processing.
The hats.
Right. So it will on Wednesday we'll talk around 6 human needs. It will be with Darren and another friend this time. So we'll talk around the 6 human needs by Tony Robbins. On Thursday, we'll have the journeyman. So he will share around about what is it, Omar? What's the title?
Yeah, on Thursday we have a special guest. His name is Johnny Gillett, and he's known as the Journeyman. So if you're not familiar with the term, tune in on Thursday. It's going to be super exciting. He talks about storytelling, and it's going to be amazing. So join us on Thursday.
All right. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you on Wednesday, 3:30 to 4:30. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, no more live.
Okay. Ah.
I hope that helps, but not much comments, Jack.
Sebab tak ni?
How many viewers have you got?
Tak nampak lagi. Tak, sebab kita tak type on the ni. Actually, the more you type on the comment, the more visible it is.
So like that, I was so engrossed, I forgot to type.
I also.
Oh, kena type on the thing ya?
On the comment, then people will get notified. Not bad, tapi sikit lah. 88 je. Usually when we do typing on the comment, dapatlah 200 sometimes. Today's but no typing.
Oh, really?
And also, I think maybe because we promoted quite late, it's my fault as well, because usually Jack takes the initiative to do all of this, and we were not responsive. So Jack only promoted it today. So I think we need to start as early as possible. In fact, like for instance, from next Monday already, if we have a topic, we should start communicating with people to see what
we can
feedback they can give us.
We can even, I stop recording.